G'day, and welcome to Friday, guys. Hope you're doing well. Hope you've had a good week, a successful week, profitable week. I think it's been a pretty challenging week overall. And off the back of that, I wanted to start the conversation today just to briefly talk about emotions and fatigue. As you know, I had to travel this week for a buddy of mine's funeral, and as a result of that, I didn't actually get a lot of sleep the last couple of days. So yesterday, heading into New York, I felt that I was okay. My wife even questioned if I was okay to trade, but as you do, as a man, I guess, or as a bloke, you go, yeah, I'm good. Well, I wasn't good. And as a result, I made a monumental error when I traded yesterday. So if you don't know, I copy trade. I have 6 funded accounts that I copy trade. And my copy trader, which is an amazing product by Affordable Indicators, I'll leave the link in the description if you guys are keen to check it out. But that product gives me the ability to trade minis or micro contracts. So even if I'm on a micro chart, I can actually choose minis on other accounts. So circling back to being fatigued and clearly still carrying some emotion from the events of this week with my buddy's funeral, I set up my copy trader, turned it on, and executed a trade on NQ. A trade that ultimately was a losing trade. And what I didn't realize until I'd entered the trade was that 5 of my funded accounts were actually trading minis instead of micros. Now I usually trade one mini, but in this instance the risk profile was too large to use one mini contract, so I decided to scale back to micros and then use 3 micros which fit within my risk profile. However, those accounts that were executed on minis, unbeknownst to me, would end up losing. So I actually blew up 5 or 4. I'm still a little bit, I have to check that. Anyway, if it was 5, I blew up 5 funded accounts yesterday. So that hurts, and I've struggled most of the day to come to terms with that. And I wanted to share that with you all because I wanted to be transparent, but also want to provide, my channel, I want it to be educational. And I want you to know that you can all learn from this, as I have and will continue to learn every day that I'm on the markets, that I needed to add in some checks. So I have a checklist that I go through before I execute a trade. That checklist didn't incorporate whether I'm trading micros or minis, and whether my trade copier was set up correctly. So that's something I've implemented today as a result. It sucks that I've blown up that many evals in an instance, and I guess that's part of the risk of using a trade copier. But at the end of the day, it's happened, and I have to learn from it, dig in, and push on. So the key takeaways are, and I think if you guys don't already know this, don't trade when you've got emotions that aren't aligned with the market, so to speak. So I wasn't in the right headspace to trade. When you're fatigued, also don't trade. Both of those were factors in what happened yesterday. So please take my advice. If you're fatigued, if you're emotional, for whatever reason, consider not trading. No issues with sitting and participating, watching the market and, training your mind and getting that muscle memory. Trade on sim, always try and be present with the market so you can test your skills. And that's what I should have done yesterday, was just test my skills. But instead I risked my funded accounts and paid the consequences of that. So I just wanted to share that with you. It's not great. Thankfully, I still have 2 funded accounts that I can move forward with, but just a little share I wanted to bring to you guys. Okay, let's move on. All right, let's get to the calendar. Today, what do we got? We got news at 8:30. Core PCE price index month on month. Okay, so what do? We wait for news. For me, I then also wait for New York Open. All right, and look, yeah, sometimes you'll miss a trade because it's set up off the back of news, and that's okay. That's okay. My rules are I don't trade till after open. All right, for indices. So we'll let the news play out. We'll wait for open to come around, and then we'll see what the market gives us. All right, let's jump to the charts. All right, so had a decent sell-off yesterday, again, off the back of Wednesday's mammoth sell-off. And I was expecting or anticipating that we'd get a good hold here with swing low plus inside this bullish FVG, but we didn't quite get the support at this level I was anticipating, as well as this this order block here, which was also aligned with this swing low. So maybe that, the order block already did its work there, supporting price once. So price fell through that as well. Now it has closed, or price has closed either right on or just below this bullish FVG. We've also had quite a large expansion through Asia and London, somewhere in the realms of 200 points. So off the back of this, we have just about held here, and we'll check ES in a second, but ES held this level with a bit more strength. Let me get rid of that. You don't need to see that. So I'm looking for price to move up into this liquidity area here, this internal level. So we had the Tuesday high of the week, and then we can look for, thank God it's Friday today. We have to get a high on Monday or Tuesday for this profile to play out for, thank God it's Friday, or TGIF. And it looks like that might be the case here. So we had our high and then our expansion lower, and now we're getting a move back in. So I'm going to say bullish on the daily. Clear that up. Let's jump to the hourly. So we did get a change in the state of delivery here, but it wasn't with displacement. So that's not strong enough. We like to see this with displacement, and then it's obviously disrespected it straight away. So now we need to see if price has a willingness to move higher. So we have created high resistance liquidity down here, and we have tons of low resistance liquidity up here. And if we were to run our projections off this leg that took liquidity, we do get some nice alignment there with our low resistance liquidity run. What else have we got? Value swing. We're starting to get some displacement here. So we've got a FVG here. So coming into open, can we get a potential move into this level or these equal lows? I mean, that looks pretty clean, doesn't it? For a potential move to go back higher, and then off this we might see a change in the state of delivery. Okay. For now, I'm just going to sit neutral on the hourly. All right, let's jump to ES. Let's clear that up. Well, actually, ES did close below that. But there was also this internal liquidity here, which we got a nice reaction to. Okay, so NQ didn't have that level of liquidity. There wasn't a gap there on NQ. Okay, so we can say that here we're looking from internal to external. But I would say, if we can get a move here today into this liquidity level here, that'd be pretty good target, I would say. We're not going to make up all this today, but we are getting a nice reaction from this level here. So I'm anticipating price to push higher. If we do get some resistance, it may be through here. So if we look at 50% of that wick, it's quite a large wick. So, if price does reach up here, and we might see a reaction to this level. Okay, so we'll just keep an eye on that. But internal to external, so that gives me a bullish bias. Let's drop to the hourly. Relative equal lows. But again, we do have all this low resistance liquidity here, plus the opening gap that still needs to be filled. We've put in high resistance liquidity down here. And if we were to run our projections from the low to this swing point here, we get some nice alignment there with our target area, with that low resistance liquidity right with that opening day gap as well. So we'll just have to keep an eye on price. I'm going to stay neutral on ES on the hourly with our structure, but we are starting to put in some displacement here. Tiny little bit down here as well, and again here. So we've had a decent run up today so far during Asia and London. All right, so similar to NQ, will we see a retracement before continuing to move higher? All right, let's jump over to CL. Now, confession here, I made a mistake here yesterday when I was looking at bias. I completely disregarded this swing low here. So apologies for that, because my bias should have been bullish and yet I was bearish. So I made an error there. But we can still use that now. Most recent information, swing low has been swept, external liquidity, and we're going to want to look for price to reach to internal. So bullish today on CL. A very nice reaction here too, didn't it? All right, external to internal. Okay, let's jump to the hourly. Okay, this is nice. Like what I'm seeing here, changing the state of delivery. This leg swept liquidity. Okay, so we can project from here, swing high to the swing low of the leg that took liquidity. We have put in some high resistance liquidity through here as well. Swept these lows. There's a swing low here, yeah. There's this one here, and then obviously here. So price has reached to the -1 at the moment and it's having a reaction there. So we'll want to see that this hourly internal level holds, or if it does push lower, that our change in the state of delivery holds. This can also be, can this be down, up? Yep. So we can go bullish breaker. So we've got a low, high, lower low, higher high, displacement through the breaker. Okay. Breaker plus FVG. And then we can target, this looks like a nice little target, doesn't it? With these equal highs here. That should be a nice draw for this morning. And then we've got liquidity resting in these gaps here, and whether price reacts to this or not, or is able to push through, we'll have to wait and see. But I'm liking this level here as a target, at least an initial target. So if we can get a pullback, stay within this hourly bullish FEG, and then maybe we get a formation off that, we might be able to get an entry. So that looks good for me on oil. Let's go to Dixie. It's just choppy, isn't it? Just in a range. So we should have been looking at external to internal. Prices wasn't able to reach the internal, and it, you know, I looked at that as bias complete because it was so close. But then, you know, for a move back to external, it's just struggled, and we've just been stuck in this range. So until price moves outside of this range, I'm actually going to be neutral on Dixie. See what the hourly can tell us. It's going to tell us pretty much the same story, I think. Yeah, look at the consolidation here. Just look at that. We do have some really nice low resistance liquidity up here though. So, you know, if we were able to get potential manipulation down, we might see distribution up. Okay, so same story on the hourly for me. I just sit on my hands looking at Dixie. It's not really until we clearly take one side here, and we might get our manipulation leg, which we might see happen at news this morning. We'll see. So that's an idea anyway for Dixie. So neutral for me on Dixie. Gold. So we got our move lower that we were anticipating, which was nice. Right into internal here. So from internal, we anticipate price to move to external. So I am bullish on gold. We may only just close this gap. Who knows today, but at the moment, I'm just looking for the internal to external relationship. And right now, we've reached into internal and price is moving higher to external. Let's call that bullish. All right, let's go to the hourly. All right. So first thing I want to check is this projection lower. Okay, so price reached the negative 2.5. Was unable to close below that, has retested that level and has continued to move higher. We've also got displacement here, so this would be a change in the state of delivery because we've had the sweep of liquidity, and this is the first moment in time that we get a change in trend. You can also see that price respected the change in the state of delivery here. Let's mark that out. Again, we've got these relative equal highs through here. Looking for where we could drop our standard deviation. So that give you an idea of a potential target in a couple of days, possibly, or perhaps. So I'm happy enough to say that I believe we're moving into bullish structure here. If we can get it close through here, this would be our hourly breaker. That would be nice, because that would be our stop through here, our stop hunt. So yeah, if we can get it close through there, that'd be really nice. So bullish on the daily and hourly for gold. All right, let's wrap it up there. I hope the start of this conversation today was able to give you guys some insight into the psychology of trading. Hopefully you guys can take some, grab some key takeaways from that first part of the conversation. I know I've learned a few things, that's for sure. But one thing that I know that I'm even more certain about is that I'll keep showing up every day. And, it might be a setback, but that's all it is. We just learn from it. And we take that and we move on. I've got a little note here that someone sent me. Fostering a growth mindset. Embracing a growth mindset means viewing setbacks as opportunities for growth and learning. Instead of dwelling on failures, focus on what you can control and how you can improve your skills and strategies. I thought that was quite pertinent today. All right, guys, have a great trading session. Don't forget, Apex's sale is finishing up on the 31st of July. So grab those evals for next week's FOMC and big news events next week. I think, what do we got? CPI as well. Let's actually have a quick look at the calendar. Oops. So we've got non-farm payroll, FOMC. So there's a lot of news next week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Big week of news. So we can expect a lot of volatility. It'll be a great opportunity if you guys want to have a crack at expediting your evals, whether it's my funded futures or Apex. Use code Jimmy. I'll also put the link to Affordable Indicators, the trade copier I use. And if you guys want to know any more information about that trade copier, please just DM me. I'll leave a message in the comments below, and I'll be happy to, I can give you a rundown on it, show you what it's all about. So please like and subscribe, and have a great session today, guys, and a great weekend. And I'll see you next week.